Again, thanks for joining me on the marketplace. Now, the former Minister of Finance said Tekwe has hit back at government over the current debt levels, warning of dire consequences considering the rate at which government is borrowing to add to the debt stock, which is now almost 200 billion Ghana cedis. His comments comes on the back of claims by the minority that Ghanaians may have to brace themselves up to pay taxes as a result of the troubling debt situation. Meanwhile, government has rejected the allegation, insisting that the rate of debt repayment is far higher than their predecessors. But the former finance minister said Tekwe in an interview with Joy Business thinks otherwise, suggesting ways to pay for the debt.
I'm drawing Ghanaians' attention is that the own graph, the administration's own graph, and it's in the debt report also, shows that from 2017, the rate at which we are adding onto debt, that is, we are adding more than we are paying down, has started going up. And that should not be surprising. Why did we start going down? Remember, let me give one example only.
Yes.
Remember that we issued the 2007 bond, the very first.
Yeah, under President Kufuor.
Yes.
Yes.
By 2013, we realized that the redemption date is 2017.
Yeah.
So we cut the stabilization fund, and even when oil prices were going down, by the time we were leaving office, we had used nearly 340 million US dollars of Ghana's own oil revenue to start paying down that debt.
To start redeeming those coupons?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we did a refinancing. By the time we were leaving office, we had left 200 million US dollars, which was used October 4th, the due date, 2017, to pay off the balance.
You had $200 million in which
left in the sinking fund.
Sinking fund,
yes.
Okay. And that was what was taken and used in redeeming
the balance.
The balance, okay.
Now, such measures are what reduce a country's debt. You have to start small. You cannot, and we had the opportunity because oil revenue is new. And oil revenue is not already embedded in our expenditure patterns. And so if debt is a concern, then you must set up part of your new resources. And so with one oil field, we started. And nobody can tell me that we didn't have needs when petroleum prices fell. We also had needs. We could have prioritized current expenditure above debt.
Yeah.
But we did it, right? Because otherwise, we would have had to either, default in 2017 on the 10th anniversary, of that bond when we needed to redeem it, because we hadn't been making provision. But I'm proud to say that we took it off. But I'm saying it is such factors, that's the important point I want to make, that we should have continued using the additional oil revenue. And remember, we are in a more comfortable situation. Why do I say that? 2 additional oil fields. Output has almost tripled. And crude oil prices have rebounded.
But your
Now, the Controller and Accountant General, Kwesi Bosompim, has rejected allegations that the government is working to privatize public sector payroll. Government's proposal to privatize its payroll so that it can manage the system more efficiently to deal with the problem of ghost names had been resisted strongly by stakeholders, especially the TUC, which proposed changes at the Controller and Accountant General's department. There's more in this report.
The wage bill has always been one of government's biggest challenges when it comes to prudently managing the expenditure. It has always taken up a chunk of revenue mobilized. For instance, in the 2019 budget, government is planning to spend 22 billion cedis on compensation. It is for this reason that the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, last year announced that they are considering bringing in private hands to deal with the challenge. But speaking to Joy Business, the Controller and Accountant General, Kwesi Bosompim, said the proposal is no longer on the table.
Well, if you allow any ghost name to be on your payroll, it's not controller who will be held liable, but you, the MDA, and the head of the MDA will be responsible for that. Now we go strictly by the payroll timetable. And at times we even pay a day or 2 before the due date. So it's something that we don't even talk about it. It's thing of the past, total. It's thing of the past.
Finally said they were talking in the past of trying to bring in some private sector hands to help with this payroll management and all those things. What's the state of it as we speak right now?
Well, I read about it.
So it's not happening?
It's not happening.
And it's not on the table?
No.
Well, it is unclear for now whether recent announcement about 95% of ghost names on the wage bill having been cleared and the prompt payment of public wages could be the reason for this suspension.
Let's turn attention to other stories. Mining firm Goldfields Limited has begun a process to equip its local partners, including suppliers, on the company's new operating model. This follows the decision to change its operations from owner mining to contract mining, which began over a year ago. Supply chain manager for Goldfields West Africa, Theophilus Ochre, at the ongoing Goldfields Suppliers Conference, has been explaining why the engagement is very necessary.
For us at Goldfields, I think we've come to realize the importance of partnership. We have evolved over the years. Supply development remains one of our key metrics when it comes to Goldfields. And we've seen partner with some of these suppliers to one of the success stories that we've seen in the past. Look, if you take, for instance, where we started in terms of fuel, we've been able to develop a local company to the level of an international standard. So today they are successful, they are going into the West African market. It's all thanks to some of these partnerships. And we believe that bringing people together for such a big gathering also offers them the opportunity to bring up some of their challenges. We also have the opportunity to tell them some of the new things that are happening in the industry, share best practices. Today, innovation and technology is the biggest thing that is driving supply chain costs in almost every industry. And for Goldfields, we feel that this is also an opportunity to take them through some of the INT initiatives that exist in Goldfields.
It's a Monday. Let's hit the stock market now and see how the performance will be like this week by way of the various income, fixed income yields, equities, and the currencies. And Adam Boku of DataBank joins us on phone to tell us more. Adam, you're welcome to the marketplace.
Thank you, Mano.
Now, so before we go on, quickly give us a recap of what occurred last week.
So last week's trading ended with 7 price changes. We've had 2 advances and 5 decliners. The top 2 advances, or the only advances for the week, were MTN Ghana, which was up by a peso to 73 Ghana pesos, and GCB Bank, which was also up by a peso to 5 cedis and 5 pesos. On the other side, we have Benzo Oil Palm Plantation, which was down by 61 pesos to 3 cedis 52 pesos. Fun Milk Limited, which also lost 50 pesos to 7 cedis 50 pesos. Enterprise Group, which lost 6 pesos to 2 cedis 19 pesos. We also have Stanchart, which lost 5 pesos to 21 cedis 65 pesos. And Unilever Ghana, which lost 2 pesos to 17 cedis 66 pesos. As a result of these price changes, the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index was up by 0.11% week on week to 2,463.83 points. But however, the DSI 20 Index, which tracks the top 20 stocks on the Ghana Stock Exchange, was down 0.34% week on week to 112.59 points. Now, market activity improved during the week, with total turnover increasing by 86.56% to 3.13 Ghana cedis. Trading occurred about 3.5 million shares.
All right, so turning attention to this week, which of the equities are expected to feature prominently on the market?
Well, liquidity-wise, we expect MTN Ghana to be the most liquid stock this week. But then we expect Total Petroleum and GCB Bank to lose some pesos, as there seems to be some sell-side pressures in these stocks. So we expect the composite index, the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index, and the DSI 20 Index to settle lower by the end of the week.
All right, now let's look at the fixed income yields, the 91-day Treasury bill, 182-day Treasury bill. What are the current status?
Right, so last week the government opened an auction, and out of the 764 million Ghana cedis that was tendered in for the 91-day Treasury bill, about 756.02 million Ghana cedis was accepted, which cleared at 14.75%, which is about 8 basis points lower than the week before. On the 182-day Treasury bill side, the government accepted 49.63 million Ghana cedis out of 54.1 million Ghana cedis that was tendered. And it cleared at 15.24%, which is also about some 11 basis points lower than the week before.
All right, now let's look at the currencies. Do we expect any further stability or otherwise of the Ghana cedi, especially against the US dollar?
Well, over the past week, there's been some slight depreciation pressure. There's been a 0.47% depreciation of the Ghana cedi against the US dollar, and it's now sold on the interbank market at 5 cedis and 23 pesos. The pound is now selling at 6 cedis, 66 pesos, which is about a depreciation of 10 Ghana pesos on the interbank market again. And the euros is now sold at 5 cedis and 93 pesos.
So before the week goes to a close, would it improve in any way?
We expect the currency now to stabilize, at least in the medium and the short term.
All right. Many thanks for that update. Edem Poku is a research analyst from Databank Research. He's been updating us on the current status of the Ghana Stock Exchange. Let's move on to other stories. Amenfiman Rural Bank has collaborated with the University of Mines and Technology to purify sources of drinking water in the Wasamenfi East District. Officials have injected 183 million Ghana cedis in the project, described as community investment initiatives within 6 communities. CEO of the bank, Dr. Alex Asma, believes this will enhance the corporate relationship with the clients as well as support the catchment areas within which they do business. Prince Appiah has more in this report.
Akosia is happy pumping water from this new borehole. It is the first borehole at Boachikrum devastated by illegal miners and left the only source of drinking water completely unusable. The water was very dirty. We always had to wait for it to settle before we drank it, she says. Another resident, Albert Kojonimo, explains how his son contracted guinea worm disease due to contamination of the drinking water.
The stream here was clean until the illegal miners contaminated it. My son nearly died after contracting guinea worm disease from drinking the water.
Galamsey had destroyed water systems at Adamanso, Nsuopunu, Brepo, Ejafo, and in Suayem number 2. At Adamanso, students of the local municipal junior high school are the most affected. Head teacher of the school, Stephen Okran, says the situation affects teaching and learning.
Well, the situation was very bad because since the children spend a lot of time going out for water, it means that the contact hours will be reduced. Sometimes, like, they have to wash the urinals and the White House. They need a lot of water. But with this water being so close to us, they can easily keep the place very clean.
Now, the situation has changed for the better after Amenfiman Rural Bank has executed 6 water projects in all the communities. Chief Executive Officer Dr. Alexander Asma says the intervention is part of its community investment projects.
We realize that the situation in these areas have also worsened because of Galamsey, small-scale mining, and their impact on water bodies. So, as a bank, we decided to support the communities by initiating this project. This is one of 6 projects that we have completed in the phase 1, and we are doing 8 more in the phase 2, which is commencing June, so that we'll be able to support the communities that have lost their sources of water to have potable water.
Meanwhile, board member of the bank, Dr. Charles Damois, says University of Mines and Technology supported to purify the water.
Amenfiman works in a community. We work with people, and the welfare of the people within the communities that we operate is very important to us.
The 6 projects are made up of 4 mechanized boreholes with overhead polytanks and 2 manual boreholes. Prince Apia reporting.
Now, the Institute of Directors Ghana is advocating constitutional amendment to bar presidents from appointing chief executives of public institutions. The group says the authority to determine and appoint management and directors should be vested in governing boards. President of the Institute, Roxanne Kwesi Dobega, said the current arrangement undermines principles of good corporate governance. He spoke exclusively to JoyNews at the launch of Ashanti Regional Committee of the Institute in Kumasi. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
Mr. Kwesi Dobega indicated presidential appointees end up showing more loyalty to the appointing authority than the governing board. He says imposition of such people over the board of directors tends to hamper effective delivery since CEOs and managing directors work to suit whoever puts them there.
The board cannot work effectively. In that case, there's a divided loyalty. Yeah, because the CEO may be more loyal to the appointing authority. And that is why, by corporate governance, the appointing authority of chief executives or managing directors of both public and private sector organizations is vested in the hands of governing boards.
Once you are held accountable for something, you make sure, once you are aware of the legal liabilities that you are assuming, once you are aware that you are not just an agent, you are a steward in a fiduciary position, you will be very careful as to what you do. But here, it's just an appointment and you stay there. Some people even overstay. Some people are on some boards for more than 20 years now.
Mr. Kwesi Dobega stresses the practice impacts negatively on productivity. He also raised issues about formation of governing boards with people with little or no expertise and feels they are supposed to serve.
As they are amending laws here and there, they will eventually amend that law to give some authority to boards to ensure that they exercise their duty of appointing chief executive of state-owned enterprises and other public and private institutions.
The delay in the appointment, some boards are late as much as 2 years, 1 year. In the meantime, it's only the CEO, therefore, who is running the show. But that's not supposed. There must be a board in place all the time. And the law gives the presidents the right to remove CEOs, the right to remove boards and then replace them.
The president of the institute referenced collapse of some financial institutions, he says, are deeply rooted in the composition of board with people deficient in good corporate governance. He says the call for reformation forms part of the Institute of Directors Ghana's strategic initiatives to promote good corporate governance. Mr. Kwesi Dobega announced other interventions to ensure efficiency and productivity.
We are embarking on a sensitization drive, an educational drive that exposes the principles and practices of good corporate governance. We have recently launched an Excellence Award scheme in corporate governance. It is our hope that all public-private sector organizations go through these. At the end of the day, they will reorient themselves towards the practice and principles of good corporate governance. And the ultimate is good performance for the country.
The success, the sustainability of every organization depends upon the board. The board should be charged and be held accountable, must be evaluated on a yearly basis to deliver what they are supposed to deliver to the organizations, to the nation.
The Ashanti Regional Committee inaugurated by Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah, Dr. Kingsley Opoku Apia as chairman. Other members are Dr. Henry Kofi Mensah, Dr. Ahmed Ejipon, Dr. Samuel Akumia, Helen Inti, and Dr. Degraft Owusumenu. Mohammed Nuruddin's reports for Joy News.
Let's do some more governance stories. A gender activist is calling on stakeholders, including government, to encourage more women inclusion in the development of the country. Executive Director of Mentoring Women Ghana, Joynews Bridget, was speaking at the opening of a 4-day democracy camp organized by Leading Ladies Network with support from the Ghana North Progress Mayors Fund for girls within the Ghana North municipality. It was aimed at providing girls with leadership and governance skills to help them take up the next generation of female leaders.
The democracy camp was held at Ikuape Mampong in the eastern region. In all, 50 girls in leadership positions from the schools in the Ghana North municipality benefited from the Life Transforming project. The selection was targeted at 25 girls in current leadership positions and potential girl leaders. Executive Director of Mentoring Women Ghana, Bridget Joynews, mentored the girls on good leadership traits and urged them to be charismatic, making a difference wherever they found themselves.
We must be aware of what we are worth as women. Then we can say, yes, we can lead, because each woman has leadership potential. So long as we have children, we bring them into this world and we bring them up. We are a form of leader of the household, and we must know that's a value that we bring to the table, and therefore step up to say, I also have something to say, I also have something to contribute to the development of the nation. Okay. Like towards them, that's to start with, you must be a leader of yourself. Teach yourself some discipline, be committed to something, have a goal, have a dream, have a vision and be committed to it. Have the discipline to pursue it. Be persistent, even when you feel you can get up and keep going.
The Ghana North Municipal.
And that will be it for the marketplace today. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Abuajiria. If you do join me again, same time tomorrow for more updates in the world of business. Have a good afternoon.